Last night in a 131-99 drubbing of the Utah Jazz, LeBron James, who quite frankly is playing phenomenal basketball to be in his 21st season and at 38, about to turn 39 years old. But Rob, LeBron last night became the first ever player to score 39,000 career points. We know he passed Kareem last year as the all-time leading scorer in the league. But last night he put up 17 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds in 24 minutes and crossed the 39,000 point threshold. He will get past 40,000 by the end of this year if he doesn't get injured. Now, that's a big if. Maybe he will. But if he stays healthy, he'll almost certainly cross that threshold. So, Rob, Dan Patrick was on his show this morning, and here's what he said about LeBron's feat.
Who would I take? Game on the line. You have to win one game, one season. I would take Michael Jordan. But if I said I could give you 21 consecutive years of high-end basketball, 21 and counting, high-end basketball, and he's going to make you relevant, you're going to be in the playoffs. Half of his career, he's played for a championship, almost half his career. Or I can give you 13 years of Michael Jordan, where he wins 6 championships. He wins 6, LeBron wins 4, but LeBron gets you back there, and LeBron is still playing, where Michael, he retires and he comes back with the Wizards. So who do you take? If I present it that way, I give you the longevity, greatness of LeBron James. LeBron's going to give you 8 more years where Mike's going to be out of the game. And if you consider that, the totality of their careers, LeBron is a better basketball player. But once again, I'll come back and say that Michael Jordan's the greatest I've ever seen.
Here he is.
And if you have a game to win, I want him.
What are you really saying?
I want him leading the charge.
I mean, really.
Dan, help me out. What did he say, Chris?
Nothing.
He didn't say anything.
Let me say something.
Go say
there
something.
There is no
I'm
argument
sorry.
that LeBron James has the longevity advantage over Michael Jordan and everybody else.
That's a debate.
If you take, longevity, LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan in terms of longevity. No doubt about it. He is better at this age, and Jordan didn't even get to this stage of his career, but at this age than Jordan was at 39. But who is the GOAT and who had the better basketball? I still think if I could pick one player's career, Rob, that I could have. I'm just talking straight basketball. I'm not talking off the court. I'm not talking personality, any of that. I would take Michael Jordan's. Now, LeBron's has been great. We both think he's the second best player ever. But I would take Jordan's because the dominance was ridiculous.
I'm with you. I that's why the Dan Patrick, I'm thinking of Dan Miller in Detroit, the Lions radio guy. Dan Patrick's take here is I don't know, but he goes out of his way to say he'll take Michael. Why not just say I would take LeBron's career?
Right.
If you
want
now
because he
kind of
said, Rob, right? We kind of said, if if I'm own a franchise and I can get LeBron for 21 years, which LeBron's played for 4 different franchises or iterations, right? Cleveland twice. But I could get LeBron for 21 years, or I could get Jordan for 13 or 15 or 11, however you want to count it. He's saying he would take LeBron. So if that's what you want to do, then just say it.
Just say that. But he didn't say that, and that's the problem I have with the take, is that it was both sides. You got to get on either side of the fence. Dan
and Rob,
Patrick.
We've said this before about those that say Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever, but LeBron James has had the best career.
Right.
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
Then LeBron's better. Just say that.
Right, just say that.
Or Jordan had a better career.
But they can't say it, though. They can't say it. That's why they always have to hedge it with LeBron. They have to hedge it because if it's to win a game or win a championship, who would I pick? It's not hands down Michael Jordan. Well, isn't that what you're playing for? To win a championship? Come on. And then Michael never got beat, never went to a game 7 revolution, changed the NBA. Look at his sneakers. They buy more of his sneakers. This guy hasn't played in 20 years, 15 years, Chris.
Oh, they're more popular now.
Right.
Probably, than ever.
I got 40 pair. They're more popular, like crazy. But you get my point. Like, really, longevity is better than a guy who totally dominates and wins 10 scoring championships in 13 years, Chris. 10 in a row.
Yeah, and we keep saying 13 years because Jordan only played 13 full seasons in the league.
Right.
The second year of his career, he got injured and only played like 17 games. And then of course, he came back from baseball one season and played the last 18 games or something. And so that's why we're saying 13. He only had 11 years with the Chicago Bulls, and he won 6 championships in those 11 years. Now, this is to take nothing away from LeBron. Rob, I think you throw in you want to look at some comparisons. I think LeBron, obviously you could compare him to Hank Aaron, right? Now, Hank Aaron, it's him breaking Babe Ruth's home run record was obviously bigger than LeBron James scoring 39,000 points. But I'm talking about in terms of the feat. Hank Aaron, Rob, never hit 50 home runs in a season.
He hit one time. I thought it was one. No,
his most ever was 47.
47, I'm sorry, yeah.
And he only led the league in home runs 4 times. Right. So it speaks to his tremendous longevity.
And you're right. That is a good way of looking at LeBron and Hank Aaron, because Hank did all these things, and Chris, like his numbers. If you ever want to look at somebody's career, and Hank Aaron played 21 years, Chris, averaged 100 RBIs. Average. You know how you have good years in the beginning, bad years in the beginning, and then bad years at the end. He averaged 100 RBIs. Yep. If you take away his 755 home runs, Chris, from his hit total, he still has 3,000 hits, which
if
by
you take
itself,
away how many?
755. The home runs, if you take away all of his home runs, he still has 3,000 hits, which is a feat in itself.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like, that's how unbelievable. And lifetime batting average, Chris, 305 as a home run hitter, 305.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. And that's not even talking about the off the field or heck on the field stuff he had to endure.
100%.
Because of the racism. I think that's a comparable one. And as great, and Hank Aaron is, Rob, certainly arguably one of the 5 greatest players ever.
Oh, he's
you just spelled out.
No doubt.
Yeah. But I don't know that many people are saying he's the actual GOAT because of that great longevity. I think Emmitt Smith, Rob, is another one that's comparable as far as, he's the leading rusher all time. And there are some that would say he's the greatest running back ever. But I don't think most people feel that way, Rob.
The argument for him is that, Chris, and this is the only case you can make for him. He was an all-around running back. Right. In that he could catch out of the backfield, Chris. He could rush for yards, and he could block. Like, he could do everything.
Did it all.
When you talk about Barry Sanders' career, here's the people don't want to talk about it as electrifying as he was, Chris. Barry Sanders was taken out at the goal line, because there's a chance he could get stopped.
Well, he was
in the
trying to
backfield.
break every run. Yeah,
you know what I mean, right? And so
he wasn't really running into the line and taking 3 yards if he had to. You know what I mean? He was trying to go 90 every year.
He didn't catch the ball out of the backfield, Chris, at all. And in a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, 13 carries. You ready for this? How many yards, Chris? 13
Negative
carries.
2 or something like that?
Negative 1 yard in a playoff game.
But that's my point, right? Because Barry was dancing. And he was great, but you know what I mean? He was there. He was trying to break it. Everyone. But you understand what I'm saying. And there's an argument for LeBron is the GOAT. A lot of people think he's the GOAT and will think he's the GOAT. So I think Emmitt Smith, Hank Aaron, I think generally, Rob, and I wasn't even making this meant to be a GOAT conversation, but generally, I think with GOATs, we tend to go with peak over longevity. Assuming that the peak was significantly long.
The peak has
you know
to
what
be,
I mean?
right.
Yeah,
right.
It can't be
not
2 years.
2 years. No, that's
Right.
not a peak. Right.
Right.
And that's
But-
why there's a lot of guys who have had really good. I talk about Don Mattingly all the time, Chris. Go look at his career. He had 4 of the greatest offensive years you could have at the plate. That's all he had. Those 4 years, that's not good enough to get in
Right.
the Hall of Fame.
Right. And I think, and we've talked about this, right? And who knows how long LeBron's going to play. And he's putting up big numbers. But you got to, like, when you're talking about Jordan, because LeBron's chasing Jordan, and that's another point I want to make, Rob. And there's no need to make excuse. LeBron is phenomenal, and what he's doing is phenomenal. But I do think a part of his longevity and his keeping himself in such excellent shape and playing at such a high level is because he is chasing, by his own admission. I don't know if he'd say it today, but he has said it in the past, Rob. He is chasing Michael Jordan. Like LeBron, I believe from some of the things he said publicly in the past and all this, I never really talked to him about it one-on-one.
Right.
But I think he is, this might be a little strong, but obsessed with passing Michael Jordan.
Oh, no.
In people's eyes.
I
right?
think that is something that.
You think that's fair? And that's driving him. Jordan was obsessed with passing Magic and Bird early in his career because they were the ones kept winning.
And I'll say
once
this too.
he did that and he eclipsed what they did, there was really at that time, nobody had played as long as LeBron and in any sport. Like you didn't have a Tom Brady who was like, oh, well, Brady can do it in football. Maybe I can do it in basketball. And so Jordan didn't push it. I'm not trying to say he could have. I don't know. But
it was
I
different
think that's
time.
been a part of LeBron's push is that he's chasing Jordan. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but this is it. And this is the funny thing is that he says that he passed him and he's the GOAT. But you get to feel that he deep down knows that he hasn't, Chris. Like he said it publicly, but I don't believe that he really believes that. I really don't.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know the answer.
No.
But
I'm
I
just
think,
saying,
Rob, I think it's very possible LeBron actually does feel like he's past Jordan. But what he understands, Rob, is that most other people don't think he did. I think he's trying to get it to a point where it's like no one else is going to be able to argue that he's not better than Jordan.
Right, but
I personally think he feels like he definitely is.
See, I think deep down he knows he's not. That's why it's like a narrative, a drum beat. Because if he was, Chris, I don't believe he would have to say it. I really don't. I don't think you have to say it if you really believe it. He's the one putting it out there. His minions, his people are always, every chance they get to try to tell people, what LeBron has accomplished and remind people and this and that and the disrespect from the other players. Like, it's hard for him to shut that out and act like, oh, no, it's clear that he's the greatest.
Yeah, I think
you know what I
understand.
mean?
It definitely,
there's too much. There's too much
clear.
noise from other people, and not just sports writers or debaters who you can try to act like they don't matter. You got other guys who actually played in the league who aren't buying into him being that guy. And
I think, Rob, the only thing that's he's going to have to win more. Because I think if he just keeps racking up, then it's like, well, even you won 6 or 7 in 24 years or something, that, you could say, well, he won this much, he went to more finals, and obviously the longevity. But you're right, there's another side to that. Well, the percentage of wins, of dominance.
And what if he doesn't win again, Chris, and you go 4 championships in 24 years?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and even at this point, some could argue, it's looking like Wilt Chamberlain. Now, Wilt won 2 championships in 12 or 13 years, but the numbers that Wilt has in his, on his resume are crazy. And that's LeBron didn't win as much as Jordan. He's going to have crazy individual numbers in totality. So there's a comparison there as well to Wilt Chamberlain. All right, we'll throw it out to you guys, 877-99 on Fox. What does it mean that LeBron has surpassed 39,000 points in his career, the only player ever to do it in the history of the NBA?